Alright, let's add some dirt. So we're going to do a similar thing as what we did with the skin, where we were bruising it. Let's sample one of the darker tones. And where do we want dirt? We definitely don't want symmetry on it. Let's select our stroke, increase this, increase my RGB intensity, and let's increase our focal shift, so we're going to get harder dots. And actually, probably the best way to apply this is with multiply. So we're going to alpha and texture and set multiply. Sorry, that was colorize. So we set it to multiply, and then that's going to be nicer. So here I'm going to look at this from a distance, and I'm going to just establish what I think should be some good places for dark. Let's try some of that yellow. Let's try some brown. And we can even do that with colorize. This way we're not affecting the value of it, we're just using colorize to turn some of this to this kind of really gnarly brownish hue. Although I'm going to now come back in and change some of it back to the bluish hue. And I think this area has a little too much color variation. So poly paint. Let's pick a medium, and just want to average this out a bit. Okay, change my alpha and average that out a bit more. Switching alphas can do a lot. In fact, at this point I would argue we've gotten some pretty decent texturing on this. I think I've got a couple more large scale dots I want to create, but I think in general we've got some decent texture. Now we really need to go in and use that colorize a little bit more. Also, it's too much variation. This is too garish. So I'm painting over those areas where I think we just went garish. Notice how I said we. I put some of the blame on you. I didn't own up to it, which I think is an important part of doing these things. Only accept some of the blame for when it starts to suck. Alright. Brush. Colorize. Let's go dark. Desaturated. There's no mask on right now. So we're not really changing value anywhere, we're just changing hue. Okay, anything else I want to do? Fix this back, I think. Let's go back into Polypaint mode 1. Click and drag to some blue, and I really just want to get rid of some of this variation. There we go. We've got some red, we've got some yellow, we've got some blue. Let's go in with drag rectangle, and we're going to add some splotches. Now, it's at this stage that you might use some custom solutions, but I'm going to be only using ZBrush stuff so that you can duplicate whatever I'm doing. But it wouldn't be bad to have your own custom alphas to start to differentiate your model. Let's sample this kind of dark red and take it darker. I don't like that. Let's do alpha 50. There we go. Just adding some stains. Okay, you can change the shape of this alpha. Let's go alpha 04, right? So it's not so circular. Okay, picking some lines. Let's lower the RGB intensity and kind of unify that a little bit. Definitely something you could do by using some rock alphas. You get some really cool results there, I think. Okay, let's unify some of those, lower the RGB intensity, and just drag this out. You can unify backwards. And there you go. So, render flat. We've got some, it's all manually painted. We did use a alpha to create a repetitive pattern, and I'm going to reinforce that right now. So I'm going to mask by cavity just to emphasize this. I'm going to invert it, turn that view mask off, and let's just set that color to black. And then I'm going to go into color and just say fill object. Let me see what that did. That might have been too extreme. Yeah, it was. So lower the RGB intensity, same thing. I'm cool with that. Now we go into render, flat, and we've got ourselves a texture painted. So a quick recap just of that process, because that process is kind of important. We first established a pattern, and we did that with noise, surface noise, and that little tiny dot that you saw in the bottom corner, bottom left corner. Okay, so step number 1, step number 2 is you go in and you get a base color. And we used a photo from 3D.sk from the Blazana set to establish just a basic color. You could have Googled it. It's not that big of a deal. 3. We went in and used cavity masking to establish the pattern in the color. And then we went in and we started to differentiate wear. So we put a little bit of, we lightened the rectus femoris, the butt, anywhere where there was going to be some action. And then we started to add dirt. And then we just kind of went around in a loop. So just constantly going back, wear, dirt, base, color, wear, dirt, base, color. We were using alpha 58. We were using spray stroke. All of these different parts. We have yellow. We have blue all over. We have red in certain places. So there's a lot of vibrancy to the hue. There's a lot of changing around that I did, and so that'll be done. Now next thing for us to look at is a shirt.